another episode of Life Changers, and this is Mike. And today I want to talk about what is the movie you're creating? Because as most of you know who listen and follow the podcast, is like I talk about life kind of like a movie and how it's like one of those, or a book or whatever, where you can choose where you're going, what are you doing. And like I know we talk a lot about similar things, but I'm just trying to get it across and in many different ways as possible so everybody understands. And I'll be answering a lot of questions today that people are asking. And as one of the main questions is, like, what the hell is Life Changers? It's not the main question, but I thought that question was funny and I'd like to answer it. And I'd like to say thank you to all the people that reached out in regards to wanting to be interviewed and stuff like that. So we are going through them. We're going to be sending out a questionnaire to everybody. So as you receive the email from us and the questionnaire, if you just answer it, and then we'll take it from there. But one question a lot of people are asking me recently, like even like right now, as a lot of you guys know, I'm still in Florida. I don't know how many episodes I recorded out here. Probably not enough. I'm probably one behind because I'm on vacation. But I still got to keep the material going because I at least want to get once a week put out, an hour long. Before we were doing like 15, 20 minutes, doing a couple a week. Now I'm going to do one a week for now, a whole hour long. And then as we pile up and start interviewing people and traveling, you'll start hearing more material, different material. I'm going to be going to a bunch of different festivals this year. One of them's called, I believe, Sideburns. It sounds funny, but like it's not sideburns like your hair. But anyways, from what I understand, it's similar to Burning Man, but it's local in Ontario, Canada. So I'm going to be hitting that up this year. I'm hitting up a bunch of other different venues, which we'll be recording and interviewing people at. And I might be running a couple of workshops at some of these venues, and I'll keep you posted as I start running workshops there and let you know where I'm at if you got anybody want to come see me live. But a lot of question ones we're going to be going through, and then we'll start talking about like what the hell is Life Changers all about, and I'm going to talk about the progression of it and everything like that. But one thing is, a lot of people ask me, how do you get to travel so much? And isn't it expensive? It's not expensive to travel. It depends how you travel. My wife and I are very frugal with our money, and we always look for deals and stuff like that. But there's also a website I use. It's called Exploria Marketplace. It's an invite-only website. So I will have the link below. That's why I'm talking about it right away, because when we post on TikTok now, we put a 3-minute, and then we tell people to go to the full-length videos on YouTube or Spotify, Audible, or any podcast. As long as you type in Life Changers Mike, you'll find me. So if there's any podcast that you're using, just type in Life Changers Mike, separate words, life, then changers, then Mike, and then we'll be number one. You'll see our logo, follow, and you'll be able to hear the full-length episodes. They're about an hour long now. But, I use this website. You could save a lot of money, up to like 60, 70% sometimes. Works really well in the U.S. So I sent it to my father, and he's tested it out and tried to use it in Canada. And he's like, well, I get better deals if I just go directly or go on a different site. But he goes, in the US though, it shows a lot of wicked deals. And as most of you know, I travel to Florida. I got 3 kids. Florida, happiest place on earth. But we go to like Legoland, we do the ocean. We're back at the ocean. I was at Daytona a few weeks ago. Then I went to Claremont near Orlando. It's not really near Orlando, but it's close enough to Orlando, Claremont, Florida, near Kissimmee, Florida. And then that's where we hang out. It's a really nice resorts. We stay out there. And yeah, we use this website. It saves us a lot of money, and we get to stay longer than we would normally. If we were paying, I guess, full price, we wouldn't stay as long because, well, the money budget. But yeah. I just like to get that out of the way. It's we're not sponsored by them or anything. It's just that's what I'm using. I'm going to share the link. You guys can use it too. There's no strings attached. There's nothing. Like, yeah, just you click on it. You put your email. You can create a free account. And as long as you're active on it, it works. And the moment you're not active, it disappears. If you're not active for, I think, at least like 4 or 5 months, then you lose access to it. Then you can just click the link again and use it. But yeah, you can save it on cruises. It's really, I was looking up cruises the other day actually, and there's big savings on them. Yeah, and I believe they have like a guarantee that if you can find a cheaper deal anywhere else, you bring it to them, then they'll match it and give you more of a discount. So fun fact, that's what I use. That's what I travel with. And then I'm pretty frugal where I use, credit cards that give you like, cash back or vacations for business. So that's how we get that. And then I do like hotels like IHG. We're not sponsored by anybody. I'm just telling you what I use and for business. And then as we travel and use those IHG rewards and our credit cards and all that, that's how you get free stuff. So just a fun fact, might as well use what's out there to your advantage and get free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff? I like free stuff. So please, if you want to send me free stuff, it's P.O. Box. But what is Life Changers? Who's Life Changers, right? What are we? Who are we? Well, it started out as an information thing because people tell me I have a talent where like, other business people or people that want to get into business ask me questions and I just like, oh, this is what I would do. And I'm still doing it. Like I'm on vacation and, I just find different ways where it's easy to make money. Like my wife and I were talking about the other day. It's just like, no matter where we go, it's just, we see like how easy it is to make money. Like there's different ways, there's different opportunities, right? Like, we used DoorDash a lot. Like I even order from Walmart and then Walmart will send it to DoorDash. DoorDash will send it to me. So like money there, right? And I was talking to Uber drivers. They make good money and stuff like that. But, I guess here's a fun fact. We were doing a mixology class and the girl that was there, she's like, I've been doing this for, I think like, 7 to 8 years. She's worked in like dive bars, as she says, to like high-end places. And fun fact, high-end places don't tip as much as like where college or, everyday people go. The common people, I guess. I don't know. They seem to tip more generously. Just a fun fact. Because when I go, like in this class, like after the class, it was a free class at the resort we're staying at. And then, they're like, thank you, have a good day. And then I was like, hey, she accepts tips, she's a bartender. So we gave her a tip. And she's saying like how she makes more money sometimes when people go leave a tip for her. Sorry. Ooh, I'm just burpy. Leave a tip for her and then other people follow, right? So I'm always initiating when I do the free class, like, oh yeah, here, tips are welcome. And then other people will go tip. And she's like, yeah, I usually get more. Because when people are staying at these, I guess, higher end parts of the resorts and go to these higher end bars or restaurants, it's, they figure they must be getting more money because, you're paying a lot more for the service, but they're really not. They're still getting paid minimum wage, just letting you guys know, or whatever it is, right? So just a fun fact, as most of you know, I used to deliver pizza, Chinese food, and it was all about the tips. If we weren't making good tips, I was not making good money, and I was making wear and tear in my car for nothing. And this was before like Uber and Uber Eats and DoorDash or Skip the Dish in Canada and stuff like that. But I digress. Anyways, I was talking to her and I was like, she's like, maybe I should find another thing to make extra money on the side or whatever, right? Because she enjoys working with the, higher end clientele because, it's fun mixing higher end drinks and, I was going to say less rude people, but I mean, people sometimes are just jerks, so it doesn't matter where you are. But I was like, what you can do? I said, I would even be interested in like, if you, it's kind of like you set up a class, right? A virtual class. And you could start doing virtual classes and charge people like $5-10 who's interested to learn a little bit. And then I was like, even better yet, because you're good at this, I said, do an free introductory video. It's like a free class. Introductory. This is what mixology is all about. You're interested in it. You want to learn how to make drinks and cocktails at home and, while you're friends or have people coming over for parties, blah, 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 right? And then you put that out there, 10, 15 minute video. And then after that, you make a longer one, more in depth, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And then maybe you charge like $10-20. And then, there's more advanced and there's, stuff like that. And, I was just telling her this and she's like, whoa, never thought. Right. And we talk a lot about all these different things, right? There's companies there's one called Fiverr. I use them a lot for my business too. Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Okay. Anybody in the world can register with them. I literally hired a teenager, some like 16, 17-year-old guy who was on there to design a banner for us that we use and that we use as advertisement. And it was a wicked deal. So I used him, and they did it pretty quick, sent it back to me. We got it printed, and then we set up the banners in different hockey arenas in Canada. I know, it's very taboo. But it works. Maybe I should use curling locations. There's a lot of people play curling in Canada. I don't, but apparently it's really popular. But yeah, and you can use anybody for anything on there, like whatever you're good at. That's why I tell people, I say, what are you good at? What's your passion? What makes you happy? I was talking to a worker at Legoland, I'm like, what makes you happy? What makes you like, oh, this is an amazing job I can do, right? Or what do you like doing for fun? And then they tell me, and I say, well, you can go to Fiverr, right? Fiverr. There's another one called Upwork.com. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Okay. I wish that I won't be sitting in my, my hotel room or at the resort that I'm at. We're actually in New Smyrna Beach, Florida right now. I'm sitting in the room, not in the closet this time. I got pillows everywhere just to absorb sound, but I hope there's no feedback. But yeah, when I'm traveling, I'm on the road, I'm still making content, but I digress. I was telling her, like, yeah, there's Fiverr, there's Upwork, there's all these different platforms that you can use to freelance and make money. But I understand a lot of people are like, the 9 to 5. And if that's the movie you're making, where you wake up, you do your 9 to 5 or your 8-10 hour shift, whatever time it is nowadays, it's not 9 to 5 anymore. You got your paycheck, regardless if a customer comes in or not, you're making money. Who cares? You get your insurance, you get your dental, you get your vacation time, and then you take vacations and do a week or two vacation and go back to the work. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's not. But it wasn't for me. I'm really good at it. I always found myself like, I'm really good at making other people money. I should do it myself. And that's why I started my own business and started doing my own thing. But anyways, I'm going off topic. That's going to be the next episode is, what movie are you creating? Maybe I'll add that later today. And this will be like a 2-in-1 episode. But Life Changer started as me giving advice, talking about how, I was told I was useless, turn a negative into a positive. And now I think I'm successful. I'm traveling. My business is still doing good. I got amazing friends helping me out at the business, but I'm traveling, making content and doing my thing and just rolling with it. But that's what it was about. It was about me talking about that. And then it kind of metamorphosis kind of morphed, that's a better word, into more of like positive energy, law of attraction, changing people, helping people, because that's what I want to do. And that's the part of my life that I'm in right now, is where I'm talking about like what I'm learning and how I'm doing things and what I'm doing and how it's working. And I'm just telling you, and this is how it works, right? And how I found that, and we can get more in depth too. Like when we could start doing lives and we could interact with people and stuff like that, like that's going to be the best information you're going to get out of me, because I need to know what you want to hear. Okay. If no one's writing me, if no one's talking to me, then it's just me talking to the mic in a dark room. I turn off the air conditioning. I turn off all the lights. I close the blinds. I got pillows everywhere trying to absorb the sound. But eventually I like it to be a live thing where I go once a week live and we're talking with our community and people are asking me questions, because that's where you're going to get the most amazing answers to the questions, because I don't know what you guys want to hear. I do have a list of questions here that I'm going to go over, but I don't know if, more spare of the moment, right? Because sometimes we're like, oh, I should do this, and we don't write it down. And then whatever, right? I know it takes time to send me an email for the question, so I appreciate everybody that does that. But yeah, it's just like how I found the frequency of money and the energy of money. Like, it sounds crazy to me. Like, talk to me like 10 years ago, 13 years ago, I'll be like, and you tell me what I'm telling you now, I'll be like, what are you, drunk? What do you want? You nuts? But it's true. Like, I thought the exact same thing some of you guys might be thinking right now. Some of you people or whatever are thinking about, right? Like, what is this person talking about? Well, this is weird, right? But it's true. It works. You know, if you're thinking negative all the time and you're always worried about crap, boom, that's what's going to happen to you. Is you're going to attract everything you're thinking. It's true. It's like, I see it. I see the patterns. Like, I'm opening my eyes and I'm seeing all the patterns. So that's what Life Changers is turning into. It's more of like, hey, as I see it and I experience it, like, I'm trying to help you unlock your eyes, right? So it's more for you to decide if you want to, you know, open your eyes and see things differently and experience things, or if you want to stay in the, you know, quote unquote rat race and do your own thing, right? Or do whatever. Like, I was sitting there thinking, like, you know, what if I got success? Like I got less than 3,000 followers on TikTok. We got a lot of active views. Like, we're doing pretty well on there. But I mean, you know, what if I was a TikToker? You know, then that's my whole life, is I'm making TikToks, taking pictures, doing this, doing that, right? 24/7, because that seems like what it is, right? I'm not, don't get me wrong. If that's what you're doing, awesome. You are doing you. That's all that matters. Okay. I'm just talking about for me, you know, it would take a lot of time and energy. And that, like, for me, it seemed like, you know, I'm trying to create all these, you know, situations or fake situations to make me TikTok famous or whatever. Sometimes I'm watching videos, I'm like, that's not real. That's stupid. It's a waste of time. You know, like, that's a setup, like, obviously. But some people don't see it. Some people don't know it's a setup, don't know it's fake. And then maybe the creator is like doing it going in, everybody knows this is fake and whatever. But I'm sorry, you know, some people might not see that it's fake and believe what you're doing and stuff like that. And then you got those stupid people that just put, like, whatever and, like, trashing and looking for Karens and stuff. Like, if that's all you're thinking about, of course you're going to attract it. It's real to you. I understand that. And that's what Life Changers is all about, is I want people to know, like, hey, if all you're focused on is videotaping Karens to put on TikTok, social media, or whatever, that's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract it 1,000%. That's all there is to it, because that's all you're focused on. The universe and the world, your energy, what you put out is what you're going to get back. So you're throwing out, I need Karens for more content. You're going to get a lot of Karens. So then your life will be interesting to you. I don't want that in my life, right? I want positive, happy puppies and rainbows, you know? And I understand everybody, we're all going through our own issues in this world and stuff like that. Like, I'm going through my own issues and that I'm working on, and I'm using law of attraction and going, you know, meditation and just pushing that stuff out. And yeah, I just want to have an open heart, love everybody, love the world. I know it sounds cliche. I want to love everybody and everybody, you know, be happy, right? I know it's impossible for everybody in this world to be happy, because we are all in our own movie. See, I'm transitioning. But we're all in our own movie. We're all creating what we want. If you realize it or not, you are creating exactly everything you want in your life. So if you want drama, you're creating it. You're thinking about it. You're focused on it. I'm sorry. That's what's coming your way. You could totally change your life. You know, do it 180, you know, or 90-degree pivot, whatever you want to call it, right? For mathematics. I was going to say 360, but I'll end up in the same position. But you could totally change your way of thinking and your way of perceiving everything, and it'll change your world. Don't take my word for it. There's a lot of amazing content of people putting out positive messages, positive energy, amazing content, and how they change their life and how they're doing things and whatnot, right? But it all comes down to you. You're the only one that stops yourself from succeeding. You're the only one that stops yourself from achieving everything you want. You know, if you look at your vocabulary in a day, okay, and you're like, well, there's a lot of one day, I wish, as if, right? Like, as if I'll be able to do that. Or, you know, like negative things, it just shuts down. Okay. It's like putting the brakes on your dreams. You know, oh, one day I'll do that. I know I mention this a lot, but one day this, one day that, right? But the way you think is what you're going to do. Here's a fun fact. My father, you know, I love him to death. And he was always like, I'm very healthy. I'm going to look young. I'm going to be fit and do all this stuff, right? And I'm never going to be old. Okay? And yeah, he looked young. He was fit, strong, still climbing trees like at 65, 66, 68, still building, putting things together on his roof at 70 and so on, right? But in the last couple of years, he starts going, oh, well, I'm getting old. So his mindset changed, okay? From being like, I'm young, I'm always going to be healthy and strong because I'm healthy, this and that, to, oh, well, I'm getting old, son. And he says this to me, son. I'm like, Dad, what happened to living forever, being young forever? Oh, well, it's the fact of life, son. I'm getting old. I'm getting older. Of course I'm going to get sicker. Or of course this is, I'm going to be weaker. Of course I won't be able to do this as, play pickleball as long or be this or that, right? But no. Since he changed his mind frame, his way of thinking, and he accepted like, oh, well, I'm getting older, so I'm going to be weaker and do this and not be able to do that, and I'm going to end up, right? But he's still saying like he's, for his age, like, oh, I'm a lot better than these guys for my age, right? Which he is, okay? He's 73, yeah, and he could still play pickleball, run around, and he's still building things, but his mind frame changed, and now he's going to start more and more acting his age. Okay? Here's an issue I have. Growing up, okay, I always wanted to fit in. Okay, I'm number 7 out of 9 kids. Okay, so there was 6 more kids before me, and I'm number 7. So I always wanted to fit in and be with the cool crowd or be with the older kids or whatever, right? So I always found myself acting the way they act. Monkey see, monkey do. I guess I'm a monkey. My dad used to say I'm the missing link. Maybe he's right. But I would see and focus and see like, these are what people are doing. So this is what seems like the people want. So I'll start acting like that. Right? So I start acting like this or I start acting like that. But if I hang out with people like nowadays, as I'm on vacation and traveling, I bump into a lot of older people. But like I'd be sitting and hanging out with, an older person and then, hanging out, talking to them and whatever. Then I see how they're reacting. Like how they stand up slowly, like, oh, my back, or oh, I got to get up slowly or whatever. And I find monkey see, monkey do myself, acting similar, like, oh, I gotta get up slowly, instead of being all chipper, happy-go-lucky Mike that I am. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Monkey see, monkey do, right? Like, I want to fit in so much that I start acting like the people around me. So if I'm hanging out with older people, I'm gonna start acting old. And I'll start thinking, oh, I might have all these weird things too, right? And then who knows? I'll start creating my reality. So that's my thing that I'm working on, is not mimicking my outsideness, outside forces, and just being me, which is happy-go-lucky Mike. Puppies and rainbows all day long. Hakuna Matata, is my song. That's a rap. Happy-go-lucky is my song. Hakuna Matata is the way of life. No, I screwed it all up. I'm done. That's it. I'm not quitting my day job. I'm going to continue doing business. I'm done. I can never be a successful singer. Oh, too bad. But yeah, I see that the more things I'm focusing on, it happens. Like before we left on vacation, we were focusing on like, oh, we can't really leave. The company needs us. We're important to the company, this and that, right? And then we finally just like, what? We're going to leave. We need vacation. We need to be, we're going insane here. So we just, everything fell into place. Boom. We left for vacation for a while. We drove. So we're taking like 3-4 days to drive each way. So for 5 weeks, I stayed 4 weeks here in Florida. I'm leaving soon. But we're just in there like, yeah, like literally we could have sabotaged ourselves not to go on vacation and justify it. Saying, no, the company needs me. I can't go on vacation. I can't do this because of this. I can't do. Of course, you can't do it if that's what you're going to say. I can't do that because of that. Well, then, yeah, you're not going to do it because you created your movie. You created the reality you want. So back to the movie analogy, because I like movies. We're living in the Matrix, people. You want the way out? Listen really carefully. This is how you get out of the Matrix. I think Mike's broken. We should return him. Matrix is a good movie. I always felt like it resonated with me. Yeah, and if we're in the Matrix, whatever, right? Who cares? I want to learn the hacks. And this is a hack I found, okay? Listen to Life Changers. I'll give you the hacks of life. Hacks of life with Life Changers. But, yeah, back to the analogy of the movie. Are you creating the movie where, you can never achieve your goals because it's not meant to be, because, I'm poor, or I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. People are holding me down when they're putting outside forces against you that aren't. The only person to stop you from being you is you. I make these podcasts, what the hell's Life Changers about? Well, I make these podcasts talking about the things that I'm learning that help me so it could help you. That's the only reason why I'm doing this. And by doing so, it benefits me because I'm putting out this energy of love and compassion, and I'm reiterating to the world and to the universe. I'm just putting it out there. Like, I learned this. This is what I learned. I'm putting it out there. And then it kind of just does, comes back to you, right? And it's like, I'm learning. A lot of times, they say the teacher learns more than the students. And I just want to find that hack where I could achieve anything and everything I want. And I know this is it. It's literally knowing the power, the ability, the influence you have in creating your reality and your world and your surroundings. It really is. I can't say it enough. People might be yelling at me right now going, well, you don't understand, And sometimes I talk with people and they're like, hey, do you remember this when you were young? So there's something called like a jumping bean. Never heard of it. And then there's people were explaining it, and they pulled up on the internet, YouTube or whatever, showed me like pictures and videos. I'm like, I never heard of this in my life. And then my daughter's like, I guess you were poorer than them. I'm like, yeah, right? And, growing up poor benefited me without me knowing. It really benefited me in the sense, like, I saw a lot of the compassion out there and that people have, and the love for my family that, my parents got, that people went out of their way to help where they could. And I'm really grateful for those people. And I'm grateful for the people that helped me. That, made me who I am and helped me see the world different. And, I'm glad those people listen to the still small voice, or to their gut, or the universe, Mother Earth, or God, or whatever you want to call it. I know I say that a lot, but it really is whatever you want to call it or recognize it as. Whatever works for you works for you. There's no doubt about it. I'm grateful for those people that listened to that went out of their way when I was younger to help out. Because I was literally, when I was younger, it's the poor will be poor and the rich will stay rich. The poor are here to serve the rich. But that's not the case. If that's the whole design of this world, if that's what's putting out in this universe and like all the TV shows and movies, right? And I know I talked about it before, so talking about movies, here's my rant. Like I mentioned before about movies, right? How they make rich people seem like pompous douchebags and crazy nut jobs, and that they'll kill people for money and blah, 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 right? Well, subconsciously, that makes you not want money. What, Mike? You're crazy. It's reality. Because you're putting a negative note or negative connotation to money. And so then subconsciously you're like, well, I'm a good person. I don't want that. I'm not a murderer. I'm not this. And I used to say it all the time. I started my own company when I was 19 years old. Okay. I always had pretty good jobs. Like growing up, like I started learning at a young age. Like I could make money. This is easy. Right. But it's learning the frequency of money that helps it stick around and replenish, and then you start seeing things, and it's amazing. But if the world is designed to make most mass people, like all the masses, to hate money subconsciously, well, it's working. Because you see it in the movies. People that are rich are the bad guys, right? They're killing the endangered animals, or they're killing people for money, or, oh, they're total douchebags, right? And I mentioned before, right? For the bartender, she was saying how, higher class lounge, they don't tip as much as regular class lounge. Why is that? People say, well, rich people, that's how they're rich. They save their money. They don't give it away. I give money away. You're only as poor or as rich as you want to be. Think about it. I'm literally get to do not what I want when I want, but I know how to make money anywhere. And I'm not denying it, okay? I'm trying not to sound like a douche or anything, but when you see the frequency of money and you have the energy of money, it's just like, oh, wow, I've never seen that before. I could do this, do that, boom, boom, boom. And as I mentioned before, talking to some, like writing back and forth and having conversations with people that listen to the podcast regularly, and they're telling me how I changed their life. And I'm trying to convince them to come on the podcast, but how they see everything differently. And now they're making less money per hour, but making more money. Think about it. And they're doing their own thing on their own terms. They're not working 15, 16-hour days to make all this money, never being home, never seeing their kids grow up, right? Now they're working on their terms, doing what they want. They're doing their hustle, whatever works for them, because now they're start figuring it out. They're home more often, making more money. Mind blown. Right? But back to the movie analogy, if that's what this is all about, where they're trying to keep us poor, that's cool. Like, whatever, right? But now that you know, money could be used for good. Yes. There will always be people with money that are total douchebags. There will always be people with no money that are total douchebags. There's people that think, well, they're rich, I'm poor, I'm allowed to rob them. No, you're a douchebag. You really are a douchebag. Okay? Like, if you're telling yourself, when I'm going through the self-checkout at Walmart or wherever you're going, they put a self-checkout here and they got to pay me, well, I'm going to cheat the system. No, you're a douchebag. Because everybody else is paying for you. That's how it works. Okay. Most businesses, all businesses, account for profit loss. Okay. So they go, oh, this is our loss. Now we got to up our prices to cover that loss, because businesses don't lose, especially big businesses. Right. So yeah, everybody else is paying for it. Well, yeah, who cares? At least I'm not. Screw big companies. Right. No, you're just a douchebag. If you don't agree with me, well, it's your problem, because that's the reality you're in. If you have to pretend you're swiping your groceries, looking around and saying, well, I'm poor because the people made me poor. This company makes me poor. This robot here is making me poor. That's your reality. You are making yourself poor by thinking that. That's the movie you're creating where, well, I'm poor, right? Because I'm a victim to the man. Okay? No, I used to think that too when I was younger. Like, oh, I'm only poor because rich people are stupid. They're not paying me enough. Poor me, right? Well, I'm sorry to say, it's poor you for thinking like that, because you're creating it. If you don't believe me, then try to change the way you look at everything. Try to change the way you feel. Try to change the way you act. Instead of being the victim, instead of being like, well, I'm poor, right? Change your mentality. Change your way of thinking. Read that book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, okay, by Dr. Joe Dispenza, because that will help you. That's what I read, because believe it or not, like when I started my first company at 19, I made a lot of good money on paper. It's like, oh, look at all this money, right? But I never had money. Why was that? And I realized it like now after 5 years ago or so now, after reading that book, is, oh, I put myself in situations because I don't believe subconsciously I'm allowed to be rich, right? Or I'm supposed to be an asshole if I'm rich, right? And I used to think like that all the time, like, well, no, I'm not an asshole, so I can't be rich. Or, well, I'm only going to be rich when I'm ready to handle the money and not become an asshole. And I'm sorry for swearing, but that's the fact right now. Okay, is people think that. People believe that. But no, you can have money and be a total awesome person. And you just be you. You're a good-hearted person. You're good people. You know, stop worrying about what people think about you or how people react to you. Love yourself. Respect yourself. Who cares about everybody else? It's what you think about yourself that matters. So if you find you're attracting people that are always putting you down, yelling at you, well, look inward and realize, like, you are amazing. You are important. And you are allowed to be loved. But you got to love yourself if you want everybody else to love you too. If you keep on putting yourself down, you're always going to get people that do that to you. I see the patterns. Right? And you might think like, oh, you know, it really does matter what these people think about me. No, be you. But be respectful. Like, don't be, I'm going to blast my music 24/7 because I'm allowed, because I'm awesome, right? Yeah, but like also be respectful and courteous of people. You know, treat people the way you want to be treated. If you want to be treated like a douchebag, well, people will treat you like a douchebag. And that's how life is. Subconsciously, you might not see it. But when you start looking at the patterns and start looking at the way you think of yourself and looking at yourself and reacting to yourself, it might be, oh, I'm joking about it, right? I used to do the same thing. I'd always make jokes about how big I am. Right? Oh, it's because I'm this, or because of this, right? But no, it's just me being insecure with myself. And I know that now. You have to love yourself. You have to respect yourself. And figure out what movie you want to create. You want to be an action hero? I guess create it. Right? You want to find that love story? Make it happen. Create it. Stop holding yourself back. Just know how amazing you are. And I'm just here to support. That's what Life Changers is all about. I literally make these just because I want people to hear. And maybe some people will listen to it and be like, wow, yeah, I am important. I am amazing. You know what? I'm going to choose to try this. And try it. Find your experiment. Test everything I tell you. Don't take my word for it. Go out and test it. Don't just listen and be like, oh yeah, that's a cool podcast. Thank you, Mike. Have a good day. I'm glad you're successful. Right? But it's funny because people look at me and go, wow, Mike, you're really successful. You have your business. Oh, hit the microphone. You have a cool podcast. Yep. You get to travel. You meet cool people. You give out cool vibes. You're a good person, right? Wow, you have everything. But being in the box, I'm looking around going like, I don't have everything I want yet. And you hear me talking like this sometimes. I'll be like, well, how come the universe doesn't give me more money so I can give more money away? That's all I want to do. Well, it's not because I'm chasing it. It's not because I'm subconsciously sabotaging myself. It's just the way it goes. You got to look inward and change things about yourself that you are not happy with. And then figure out what movie you want. Don't stop dreaming. Start living. Stop going through the motions if you're not happy, and change things. If you're working a 9-to-5 job or 10-hour job, day job or whatever, and you're really not happy and you have always had a dream to do your own company, do it. Sounds scary, but when you look back, you'll be like, wow, I should have done this sooner. I've done it. I'm really good. I make good money. I'm going to work for other people. And I always fall back. You hear me many, many times. I started my first company in 19, but I was never all the way in. I was never like, I'm going to do this 1,000%. Because I've always had this, I'll have a I always look out, I have a real job. I take a contract and I use that as my real job, my security blanket, because I needed that, right? I needed the guaranteed money. Because if the company's not making money, I don't make money. And somebody weed whacking out there? Oh, I think it's the garbage truck. Sorry. Hopefully that doesn't get picked up on the mic. You're a garbage truck. But anyways, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. That's how it goes. I don't have notes. But that's exactly what I've done. I said, the heck with it, after reading that book about breaking the habit of being myself, and the other one, of the Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer. I'm not sponsored by anybody, okay? I'm literally paying for this podcast myself. So anything helps if people want to help out. Well, then we'll just give it away. Because that's all I want to do, to be honest. I digress. But yeah, once I learned about that, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to stop taking these jobs and thinking like I need these, a real job on the side to be successful. No. And I never looked back. And it's been like 6-7 years now. Been doing my own thing, and now I have more time. And yeah. And I don't know where I'm going to end up. Don't know what's going to happen. But I'm just going to roll with it. Or I'm just going to surrender and trust the universe. Sometimes when my wife and I just talk like, with our company, we should just get rid of it, shut it down, leave it alone, sell it, whatever, move on. And we're like, oh, but I love it. It's my baby. We finally figured it out. After all these years and all these hours, trust me, if you listen to the earlier podcast, we put a lot of work into the company and to finally get something, working. It's all about, the branding for me and figuring it out. Now I could just duplicate. It's easy enough, but I digress. So that's my rant. Let's go to the next question. So another question I get asked a lot is it's funny. Tell me how you did it and I'll just do it and be as successful as you. It doesn't work that way. I mentioned this many, many times. I've been to events where there's celebrities Sylvester Stallone or people from Shark Tank or Dragon's Den in Canada, stuff like that, right? And really successful people. I even saw Pitbull live and people ask him the same thing. I'm going to be just like you, Tell me exactly how to do it and I'll do it. I'll copy everything you do. How come I'm not successful? And I hear that a lot. And it just irks me. I feel sorry for these guys, the celebrities. They're like, and then Sylvester Stallone was like, I could tell you exactly what I can do, what I've done, but it's not going to work for you because you got to go through your own trials. You got to go through your own things. You got to do what works for you. Because what worked for him will not work for you. And it's true. I'm saying the same thing. I could tell you and lay it out on how I did it and how I achieved. And I am in these podcasts. But it won't work for you if you're not going to find your own path, right? That's why I do these podcasts is I'm trying to help people find different ways that will work for them to use the law of attraction and to create their reality and create everything they want and start doing it in a way that works for you. And as I learn different ways, I'll explain it. And some of them don't work for me, but some of them might work for you, right? So, yeah, stop asking those stupid questions. Well, tell me exactly how you do it, and I'll do it too. Because it's not going to work for you, because it worked for me. The only thing that changed, okay? I've been working at this for over 20 years. I started my first company 20 years ago. And I've been doing it on my own. And, whatever, right? Do my company, do my thing. And how come I'm not super rich, right? Oh, hey, Mike, how come you're not multi-millionaire or billionaire by now? Well, because I keep on screwing it up. I keep on self-sabotaging. I keep on doing things, right? But then now I finally found the recipe that works for me. I'm using my own recipe. Now it works. And people are like, whoa, hey, Mike, you finally did it. And kudos to you, right? It finally worked. But what works for me, for business wise or how I make my living and stuff, will not work for you. And I have people that, worked with me and come with me on different venues and different things I do. I'm like, I'm going to do exactly like you. I'm going to start a company just like that. I'm going to be your competition. I know your recipe. You talk too much, Mike. I'm like, yeah, good luck. It's not going to work. Seriously. You might take my idea and run with it, but it won't work for you because it's not yours. It's just not, you haven't worked hard for it. I know it sounds crazy. Like, things come easy to me now, but I worked my butt off to get to this point. And it was a simple mind frame. That's it. I had to reprogram my mind, think differently than the way I was, brought up or programmed, as I say a lot. You got to deprogram yourself, right? I had to deprogram myself from thinking I'm supposed to be poor my whole life. And to realize, like, I'm not. I'm going to be able to do what I want, be successful if I want, be rich if I want, be poor if I want, do whatever I want. And then I have to learn to surrender and just roll with it and trust. As I mentioned before, as I tried to take over my company and be like, aha, I created this company. Ah, look what I can do. I'm a god. Right? And then it just goes, I'm trying to whistle, but it's not working. So it's just not sound like wind to you. Right? And I take control and then it just goes, but then I give it back to the universe and I say, I'm sorry. Do your own thing. Right? Or, give it to your higher self, give it to whatever you want to call it. God, the Holy Ghost, I don't know. Whatever works for you. And then let it do its own thing and roll with it. Because if I did exactly the way I was to start my company, I would not be in business today. I'm just rolling with the punches. Sometimes I add things. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I need to do this. Right? But sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Then you got to cut that limb off. And then, and try the next thing and the next thing. But now I found the recipe that works for me. So it'll work. So find what works for you. The main thing first, if you want to be successful, and you have the drive. Trust me, I have the drive. I've always had the drive. I was always a go-getter. People are like, wow, you're going to go places. You're amazing. You're a go-getter. You're a go-getter. And education-wise, I was as dumb as a doorknob, as they call me. I used to have a boss call me that. You're dumb as a doorknob. At least a doorknob can turn and open a door. And I'm like, well, it's not the doorknob that's opening the door. It's the individual turning the doorknob, boss. But yeah, I used to be called dumb as a doorknob. Because I wasn't educated, right? I wasn't smart. But I'm really good at math. I'm really good with numbers. Really good with a lot of different things. And I see things differently. And that does not make it wrong. Just because I don't see things the way I'm supposed to. You're supposed to be programmed this way, Mike. No, I'm going to do what works for me. I'm going to program myself the way I want to program myself. And that's what you got to do too. Looking at the next question. Another question I get asked a lot is like, well, tell me the secrets to making money at the casino like you do. I do in all my episodes. Okay. I'm not making fun of the questions, but when I get a lot of the same questions and I'm just like, if you listen to the podcasts, I mention it a lot of times. There's one called The Real Experiment where I talk about it. And yeah, I can go more in depth, I guess, like, mathematics and stuff about the things I've learned and feel through the law of attraction and through the energy of the casinos. But like, yeah, I literally go with a different mind frame. I don't go as I'm going to be a loser. I only go because I have fun and I'm just donating. A lot of people see going to the casino or buying lottery tickets and all that an idiot tax. Well, it's only an idiot tax if you're an idiot that believes that, because then you're going to go and just be like, yeah, I never win anyway. Idiot tax, right? I proven the concept to myself because that was the experiment I wanted to do with the law of attraction. And I was like astonished, but I learned a lot. And now I'm tweaking it and making it for me, right? Where I go to the casino and have fun, talk to people about law of attraction. I hand out my life changer cards and I make money at the casinos because of the energy I'm putting out of, I'm not here to gamble. I don't gamble, okay? I don't gamble. I just make money when I go there. The universe is going to hook me up. That's all there is. But the moment I go in there and change to greedy, like, oh, the universe loves me. It's going to hook me up. I'm awesome, right? Well, I'm going to lose everything. The universe will be like, yeah, douchebag, bye. Or the moment I become cocky or, mean or start thinking like, why is that person winning? I should win. And I talk about it many times on my podcast. Or I was literally at a machine. I started, I was winning and doing good and people were winning around me. And then people were winning more than me. And I was like, why are they winning more? I know more about the law of attraction than they do. Right? I'm with life changers. And I start whining and becoming like, oh, they shouldn't be winning. I should be winning. And then my money started going down. And I felt it. I was like, oh, the energy shifted. I'm losing everything. I'm like just pouring it out. I'm like, cut it off. And then I like, whoop, gotta go. And I go to a different machine. And then 10 minutes later, this little old lady wins the $10,000 on that machine. I'm like, well, that should have been for me. No, you got to be happy for everybody around you. When I'm at the casino and I'm doing good, I'm happy, go lucky for people. People making more than me, who cares? They need it more than I do. Right? Oh, you could have won that 10 grand if you stayed there, Michelle. No, I wouldn't have won that 10 grand if I stayed there and played that game. Okay? Because the energy I was putting out was not the right energy. So I shall not win that. But it's just the way it goes. It's hard to explain. Like, I'm trying my best. We'll answer like one or two more questions, because we're getting close to the hour mark of me blabbing away here. But yeah. So another question is, and I think I've already talked about this question before. We had it many times, but where people are like, well, I guess if it's so easy, how come not everybody's doing it? Because it sounds too good to be true. And what do they tell you out there? If it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Yeah, probably is. I guess don't listen to me. I mean, it sounds too easy. But you know, one thing I learned? That saying, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Nothing is as complicated as it seems. Okay? It really isn't. I mean, I can go to a mechanic shop, learn from a seasoned mechanic how to become a mechanic and get the experience from the ground up. But they tell you, oh no, you need to go to school and get all these degrees to become a mechanic. And don't get me wrong, like, trade schools are awesome. But if you go straight to becoming a mechanic and learning from a mechanic instead of learning the theory of mechanics, and you can learn actual mechanics, at least for me, I need to learn actual stuff. I don't want to sit in a school and learn how to operate a company and in theory know how to do it all, but in practicality I know nothing, because it's a lot different, because everything they teach you is in a perfect world. But don't get me wrong, if school works for you, it works for you. And it doesn't work for me, because I guess I have a sore spot for it, because they treated me badly. But I mean, experience. The way it was done in the old days, right? You learn to drive, now you drive. You learn how to operate that machine, now you can operate it. I don't need a master's degree in how to operate the machine. I just need to know how to do it and be shown how to do it, and I can do it. So things are not as complicated as it seems. It really isn't. We make things complicated because we believe it should be. I don't know if that's the programming we're in, if that's what's going on, or whatever, right? But that's just the way it is. You know, it's funny because, like, I heard a lot of the similar stuff that I'm talking about years ago. I was like, this guy's nuts. But if you're listening to me, or you listen to my podcast, and you still haven't tried an experiment or tried to do things, and you just like give up pretty quick, or you're like, well, whatever, this guy's nuts. It's still cool to hear his stories. Try it. You'll be amazed. You'll be really, really amazed on how you can change your whole entire reality and everything about it by taking control of your movie, taking control of your life. You know, I might do another podcast more in depth about the movie that I want to do, but I kind of talked a little bit about it. But are you going to let time pass you by? You can let all these opportunities come and go. See, it's funny because I was talking to my wife, and I was saying, like, hey, Here's an opportunity, right? Because she researches and learns a lot about things. So when we go on vacation, she's looking up all this different things. Like, there's all this amazing stuff we've done. Like, we went walking in swamps, like not in the swamp, but like on paths, and it's free. And you could see alligators in the wild. It was fun. You know, I guess no alligators walked in front of us, but some other people on the trail that walked in front of them, and they got videos of it. But I seen some big alligators out there. Anyway, she does all this research and all this thing. I'm like, it's a missed opportunity. You can make like a blog or make a page and, you know, give people all this information and help them with their vacations, right? So if you're going to Florida anytime soon, check out, oh man, I totally forgot. It's like Circle B Bar. Okay. So circle, then the letter B, and then another word, bar. It's in Florida. It's about, I'd say like 45 minutes away, half an hour from Claremont, depends on the traffic, going south, and it's free. You can see a lot of animals, big turtles, birds, all sorts of things, and it's free. It's a cool adventure. But anyways, there's a lot of different fun things to do, and as we learning, and as my wife does things, like I'm like, you could just test out a blog and do this, and you know, maybe people will give us, you know, free travel. But you know, we just got to focus on what's working for us. And if she's not feeling it, then don't do it, because then you're just going to force yourself to do things and try to make money. Then it's not going to work and you get frustrated. And I've learned that there's a lot of things I did and whatever. But then I just quieted that voice in my head and just trusted and listened to my higher self, to the universe. And now I just trust and do it. Everything's amazing. And now things are finally working. It only took like 16 years before I figured it out. So how long is it going to take you? Are you going to take longer than me, shorter than me, be better than me? I don't know. But write me. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me if you did an experiment and it works. Tell me if there's things working or not working. Then I could talk about things that could help you make it work. You know, you are really important. Everybody that's listening, you're an awesome person. You're amazing. You are loved. You are important. You can do anything you want to do. You really can. But you got to trust yourself and do it. Thank you very much for listening. And this is Mike with Life Changers.